It's a very interesting topic that you may enjoy. And it came with so much clarity. I'm going to call it the journey of the enlightened mind. Firstly, we have to agree to disagree. That only you know when some mind is telling the truth and some mind is fluctuating from some devious kind of ways. You see, many gurus and saints will say that enlightenment is in a mindless position where no mind is present. And it's true, you see. Agree to disagree. It is very true that at some point, let's say a period of time, that ego mind subsides. Whole of ego mind subsides, dissolves, disappears, dies. And a space is born, and the enlightened mind appears very gradually and slowly. Now, when ego mind subsided, enlightened mind was waiting to bounce. You're always enlightened. You see, that's one point you have to experience. You can't take the words of this one for that. So this journey, a journey of the enlightened mind, is in fact a story, a moving journey. And what is the difference between enlightened mind and ego mind? Ego mind has a story to tell. Ego mind is me, the person, Graham, believing I am the person in the mind and I'm separate from this world. And what I do is I was born on this date, I did this, I worked here, I went to this education, I married this lady, had this children, and I'm probably going to die at some point. And that's about it, you see. I sometimes went to church, I sometimes was an atheist, I sometimes was a scientist, I sometimes was a joiner, an artist. I had a very diverse life, you see. Ego mind story. Enlightened mind story. Exactly the same. Different suit. Different suit. What is a different suit, you see? The different suit is ego, the journey of the ego mind is whatever the ego mind experiences, does, speaks about, relates to, is conditioned past mind from peers, education, learning, books, whatever. The ego mind has learned nothing new. Yeah? You don't get an ego mind saying, I don't believe in anything. I am this person. I was born on this date. And you know what? I experienced God. He came down. You see? The ego mind will not speak like that. Because any mind that sees or experiences God cannot speak about it. You see? So ego mind is relating something to the past, that God's in the sky. He took some medicine, let's say, and this God was a man, and he saw it. You see? It all came from past related understanding, learning, and knowledge from others, from another source, from another mind. Ego mind is a lazy mind. We're all ego mind. Don't think you're going to start hearing things like a pure mind is special. Pure mind is another journey. Okay? Ego mind's journey is, I will not learn nothing new. I will simply follow what everyone else done in the past and will obey to everything that is happening in the present and will hope that whatever happens in the future is what I believe in, that there's a heaven. Story. The journey of the ego mind. The journey of the enlightened mind. Story. But the story, when awakening takes place, can be compared to the ego mind story, and the story of the enlightened mind is everything that comes is brand new. You've heard this body, this speaker speaking in videos about things that you have maybe never ever heard about. This speaker in ego state does not understand what is being spoken by this speaker. In pure mind state, it is absolutely 100% clear what has been said. The only difference in ego mind in comparison with enlightened mind is ego mind tells a story about things that is not new. It is not new. If it says, yes, it's new, I came up with this idea, ego mind is ideas, you see. The idea is an old, stale word that rings truth with a particular version of mind. Oh, I have an idea. I have an idea. Means I am separate, you see. I am separate. I had an idea. Pure mind, enlightened mind, does not have any ideas, does not have any concepts, does not have any real interests about what it experienced in ego mind state. Do you want to go on the roller coaster, Mr. Enlightenment? Whatever. I don't really understand the question. I have a vague memory of this world. So it can experience being ego with a very susceptible and fragile way of looking at things. The journey of the enlightened mind is to speak newness. The body and the mind that went to the educational system and followed the rules and regulations of ego mind, married, whatever, identity, register of birth, whatever, uses the words, the language and everything to convey and communicate new things that come through this body and mind that is not pertinent to the body and mind. The body and mind, this speaker is not special. It is a simple meat suit. But the one that is speaking beyond has no idea what's going to come next. So the enlightened mind experiences truth as the same as ego mind. Everything changing. A new thing appears completely new in the sense that it has never been understood by the speaker, it has never been experienced by the speaker, and something is pulsating these words that are conditioned ego words to try and convey something new that the body and speaker does not understand, but the pure mind understands, and only the pure mind that listens understands. Ego mind understands the language because it understands the language. But ego mind is reliant on being conditioned, can only react and relate to conditioned thinking, conditioned education, conditioned knowledge, conditioned understanding. The ego mind is very robotic computer that only spews out what it has learned from other sources. Enlightened mind is simply a vessel spewing out things that no other mind really understands. Even the ego mind and the body of the speaker does not understand. Some can class it as lunacy. If this speaker was running around with marijuana and I don't know what you class as lunacy, and didn't make sense and was giggling and frantically like a sage would, you would say what he's speaking about is nonsense. What he is speaking about is nonsense. This speaker is not speaking, there's no one talking. There's nothing taking place. The mind and the body does not experience this. I, ego I, do not know what's going on. Not here and not anywhere. Because past is past. The ego, the body and mind can revert. Very fragile, very unbalanced way to understanding this ego state that it once was. But the enlightened mind only understands newness, only produces newness, only experiences newness. That is why when truth is revealed to you and you awaken and you overcome your ego state, your ego mind subsides and this new mind appears, you will experience truth coming in versions that have never been experienced or spoken about before. And if you can maintain a link with society, with ego mind people, they will accept you. But they won't accept you if you try and dictate or preach or push or force you to thinking that they know better. The enlightened mind does not know anything better, it knows newness. The enlightened mind can be frustrated because it sees science messing about in mud. It sees religion floundering, and the new experiences reveal Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness, God consciousness, transcendental consciousness, and through this consciousness, insights appear that is beyond what science is speaking about now, beyond what religion is about now. And you'll hear it from many gurus and saints. This speaker does not want to be associated with anything. It doesn't want, it has not been guided or pulled or forced by the superior one, not by society and ego and pure mind, to sit and say you must join this community, this yoga institute, this satsang institute, this Vedanta institute, this Upanishad institute. This speaker is quite happy to allow pure mind to come through and spew what most will be saying is nonsense. And I want you to believe that it's nonsense. Because the more nonsense you experience, the more manic you'll get, thinking so many people, so many gurus, so many saints, so many people are coming forward speaking nonsense. And you know what? I have this little realization that actually, as ego state, I have been speaking nonsense. I have not been true to myself. I have been parrot fashion repeating things for the whole of my endure life with no real understanding and knowledge of why. That's a revelation, you see. When you realize that you are fitting in and you're forcing yourself to fit in to this rules, regulation, ego state, and that all the time you felt something different, something unique. Your mind is burrowing through your core, and you're going on a new journey, but you're going to go before the journey starts, and only the journey remains. The difference between the ego journey is there is a person on the journey. The difference between the pure mind, enlightened mind journey is only the journey is taking place. And there appears to be a beautiful, wonderful sensation of love every moment of every day, somewhere, within and out with. The journey of the enlightened and the journey of the ego is the same journey, but in different suits, different circumstances, different language. If you understand this language, you're on the journey. But remember, you don't move from ego mind journey to enlightened mind journey and completely forget ego. Ego still hangs around, you see. Just like enlightenment hangs around you. When you have this experience, this feeling that there's something more. I must have a purpose. That's enlightened journey, you see. The purpose is to remove the identity. The purpose is to remove the ego. The purpose is to remove the shackles. And the journey happens with no effort. Namaste.